In 2026, two of the most influential cardiovascular bodies, the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association, reshaped how we think about acute pulmonary embolism. What they offered was not merely a revision of recommendations, but a recalibration of our clinical posture at the bedside. For years, we spoke in imprecise language: massive, submassive, low risk. These labels carried intuition but lacked structural discipline. The new guideline replaces that ambiguity with a 5-tier construct, the acute pulmonary embolism clinical categories, labeled A through E. It is a framework that aligns pathophysiology with prognosis and, crucially, ties each risk category to a defined therapeutic intensity. Imagine the patient whose pulmonary embolism is discovered incidentally. No dyspnea, no chest pain, hemodynamically stable. Under the new schema, this is category A. If vital signs are reassuring and there is no competing reason for admission, this patient can leave the emergency department safely. That single shift has profound operational implications. It protects patients from unnecessary hospitalization and preserves system capacity. Now consider the symptomatic but stable patient with a low clinical severity score. This is category B. Anticoagulation is initiated, follow-up is secured, and early discharge becomes not a compromise, but a deliberate and evidence-aligned decision. Here, efficiency and safety coexist. In category C, symptoms are accompanied by objective signals of strain, elevated biomarkers, or right ventricular dysfunction. Category D signals impending cardiopulmonary collapse. Category E declares it persistent hypertension and overt failure. These patients require admission, vigilance, and readiness to escalate without hesitation. When hemodynamics falter, reperfusion strategies enter the conversation. Systemic thrombolysis, catheter-directed thrombolysis, mechanical thrombectomy, or surgical embolectomy are reasonable in the sickest subset, category E1, and may be considered in carefully selected category D patients. Yet the guideline cautions against reflex. It calls instead for structured deliberation. This is where the formal endorsement of Pulmonary Embolism Response Team, PERT, becomes pivotal. High-risk pulmonary embolism is not a solo endeavor. It is a time-sensitive, multidisciplinary dialogue: cardiology, pulmonary, critical care, interventional radiology, cardiothoracic surgery, each perspective refining the decision in real time. Anticoagulation strategy is equally sharpened. For initial parenteral therapy, low molecular weight heparin is preferred over unfractionated heparin in most patients, reflecting pharmacokinetic predictability and lower complication profiles. For extended oral therapy, direct oral anticoagulants are recommended over vitamin K antagonists when not contraindicated, balancing efficacy with improved safety in recurrent venous thromboembolism prevention. Duration of therapy is no longer left to habit. In a first pulmonary embolism without a major transient reversible trigger, or in the presence of persistent risk factors, extended anticoagulation beyond 3 to 6 months is recommended, provided bleeding risk remains acceptable. The decision becomes individualized but principled. And then comes the part we often neglect: what happens after discharge. The guideline insists that follow-up is not optional. For at least 1 year, patients should be assessed systematically for persistent dyspnea and functional limitation. The aim is early detection of chronic thromboembolic pulmonary disease, particularly chronic thromboembolic pulmonary disease, or alternative causes of ongoing symptoms. Recognizing this trajectory early can alter long-term outcomes in meaningful ways. In essence, the 2026 update reframes acute pulmonary embolism care around precision. It clarifies disposition, rationalizes escalation, strengthens anticoagulation strategy, and demands longitudinal surveillance. At the bedside, the message is straightforward: classify carefully, treat proportionally, escalate deliberately, and never abandon follow-up.